So now we're going to do the general web page. Let's find it. Here it is. Matrix math calculations. Strangely, oh, I know why. This is kind of easier than the last assignment. Have a look at the code. A 1D tensor, 10, 20, 30, a scalar, and we're adding them. So what is 10 plus 2.1? Well, right there the answer is 12.1. Let me just show you how this page comes up. I'm not sure why it was done. There we go. I click the button, then I check the code. A reminder, if you ditch all of that, you can check whether it still runs. It hasn't been deprecated. So here's the code. This one's using data sync, so we don't have to do any async stuff. Way easier, but it would be slower if this was with a whole bunch of math functions in the GPU. But let's see what we're doing here. Oh, this page is all about the machine learning part is great, and this page is not terribly difficult. But if you know JavaScript, you can do so much more with this. This is adding a tensor and a scalar. Well, let's look at the next one where I've got some text boxes and I'm dumping them into, I'll show you the code eventually. So this does exactly, oh, not exactly, let's make this -1, exactly the same as the last one. It has 12, then has 22. Nice, not nicely formatted like the format function I had before, but it's taking 10 and 2, making 12. It's taking 20 and 2, making 22, 30 and 2, and making 32. But here now, I can, let's look at of the array, the initial variable. It's the 12. Let's look at the second variable, which in JavaScript, it's irritating. The first one's 0, so the second one is 1, which is 22. And the third variable, which is 32. But look at this. This is defining the arrays. So I could put in a few more things right on the web page. And I can change that scalar. Let's make it 5. And I can change my number of decimal places. Let's make that 5. And I just want to look at the first one. So the 10 and 5, do the math, is 15. But to 5 decimal places. Let's say 0 decimal places. Now it's that one. By the way, if I go to -2, oh, it still has the fixed numbers. It's interesting. If I go to 3, does it? That's a little interesting too. Okay, so this is kind of the point. When I was learning TensorFlow in Python or in IPython Notebook, I could do the TensorFlow, I could run the examples, but then what do you do with it? Whereas here, the example, the machine learning part in this one isn't very much. I've actually, look at how much code is here because I've thrown in a whole bunch of JavaScript. There is, this is just web page stuff. Okay, this is before even the button. This is just the information here. Then I get to my button and I have to grab the information. It took a while to figure out how to split that into something a tensor could read. Just split with the comma. Once again, look at it. Doesn't have the square brackets. It's just a string. Splitting makes it array. It now works as input to a tensor. Scalar's fine. Adding. This if statement here is just checking that we don't try to access more than the number of values we have in our array. So you don't want this value higher than 3 when you run it. See, it forces it down to 2. And here what we have is if the values are blank, it forces it to -2. If the value is greater than 0, it grabs the fixed value, and else it just does what it did before. It prints out all the data sync values. Hope that helps.